Okay, so are you ready to dive deep into the world of volunteer mentors? I know it's a role you're super curious about, and after going through all of RoleCatcher's stuff, their guides, interview prep, even their job board, I think you'll find it even more interesting.
Yeah, RoleCatcher is definitely the place to go for this. They have a really well-rounded perspective on what it takes to really excel as a volunteer mentor.
It's so much more than just a checklist, isn't it? I was really struck by how RoleCatcher emphasized all the different sides of this role. It's about cultural integration, giving administrative support, even fostering personal growth. Like, we're talking about mentorship on several levels.
Right. It's not just about showing them the ropes. You're guiding them through the entire
Huh?
experience. Think about it. What if you're mentoring a volunteer in a remote Amazonian community? Cultural sensitivity is essential there, right? You'd be navigating all these complex customs, making sure your mentee can engage respectfully with the local way of life.
Wow, that paints such a vivid picture. What skills do you need for that? We know it's not just about being friendly. What specific qualities does RoleCatcher highlight for people who want to be volunteer mentors?
Active listening, that's huge. And I don't mean just hearing, but truly understanding what your mentee needs, even the things they don't say out loud. Persuasive communication is another one. Might sound strange in a mentorship setting, but
It's kind of like convincing someone to try a new food they're unsure about.
exactly. You're selling the experience, showing them why it's valuable and how it lines up with what they want. And you're marketing their skills to the community, connecting them with the right opportunities.
So you're like their biggest cheerleader, personally and professionally. Speaking of professional growth, that career path outline on RoleCatcher really blew me away. This isn't just volunteering, it can be a real career.
Absolutely. You can start as a volunteer mentor, working with individuals, then maybe move on to leading a whole team of mentors as a senior volunteer mentor. And from there, tons of possibilities.
We're talking volunteer program coordinator, manager, even director of volunteer engagement or chief volunteer officer. Just the titles themselves sound like a huge jump in responsibility and impact.
For sure.
Yeah.
As you move up, you're not just mentoring people anymore. You're shaping the whole volunteer scene within an organization, managing budgets, building partnerships, maybe even advocating for changes in policy to support volunteerism on a bigger scale.
Wow, that's incredible. Talk about a fulfilling path for someone passionate about making a difference. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. RoleCatcher also gave some really insightful real-life examples of what these roles actually look like, right?
Yes. I think these examples will really help our listeners see what this path can look like. Starting with entry level, RoleCatcher had a profile of a volunteer mentor who said they were responsible for guiding and supporting volunteers in their integration process and helping them adjust to the host culture.
Okay, so far so good. That lines up with what we've been saying about cultural sensitivity and integration, especially in unfamiliar places, right?
Exactly. But this person also talked about focusing on responding to administrative, technical, and practical needs of the community. So think about it. The internet goes down in that Amazonian village, and your mentee needs to file a report. This mentor might be the one who knows how to fix the connection or find another way.
That's a great example of how important those practical skills are on top of interpersonal skills, even at the entry level.
Totally. Okay, now let's jump up a few rungs. We have the volunteer program manager. One profile described this as leading and overseeing volunteer programs and developing and implementing strategic plans for volunteer engagement. This person's gone way beyond individual mentoring. They're thinking big picture.
Big picture, for sure. I bet that comes with a whole new set of challenges.
Oh, definitely. They might be responsible for getting funding for the whole program, using data analysis to see how effective it is, maybe even pushing for policy changes that help volunteerism in general. It's a big role with the potential to create some real change.
That's incredible. It really highlights how many different skills and experiences you can gain on this career path.
And then there's the top spot, the chief volunteer officer. RoleCatcher profiled someone in this role who was responsible for developing and executing their organization's entire volunteer strategy. So it's like,
They're the CEO of volunteering within their organization, right?
exactly. They're the ultimate champion, the one setting the vision, getting the resources, and making sure volunteering is a core part of their organization's culture.
Wow, it's inspiring to see how far you can go. But let's talk about the elephant in the room, or maybe I should say the algorithm in the room. Technology, especially AI, is changing how volunteer programs work. And RoleCatcher really goes deep into this.
They do, and it's really fascinating how technology and human connection are coming together here. We're seeing AI streamlined those administrative tasks, sure, but it's also changing how volunteers get matched with opportunities and even how mentors are being supported.
Right. RoleCatcher's platform doesn't just handle the logistics. Their AI can actually look at job descriptions and volunteer profiles and find the perfect match. That makes it a much more fulfilling and impactful experience for everyone.
It's like a matchmaking service, but for volunteers and meaningful work. And get this, the AI matching goes both ways. RoleCatcher also talked about how it can give mentors personalized guidance, recommending resources and strategies specific to their mentees' needs.
So it's like a digital mentor for the mentor. That's wild. But with all this AI, where does that leave the human element? Can technology ever really replace that human connection that's so important in mentorship?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's something RoleCatcher grapples with, too. They're excited about the potential of AI in this field, but they also emphasize that technology shouldn't replace that human touch.
Because in the end, it's the empathy, the shared experiences, that genuine human connection that truly makes a difference.
Exactly. And that brings us to something crucial that RoleCatcher really stresses: preparing for interviews. Even with all this tech, those face-to-face or screen-to-screen moments are where the human element shines through.
Absolutely. And lucky for us, RoleCatcher has a ton of tips and strategies for acing those interviews, especially for aspiring volunteer mentors.
They really do. They've broken down common interview questions, giving you a peek into what employers are really looking for when they ask, like, tell me about a time you worked with young people, or how would you handle disagreements with a mentee?
And it's not just about giving the right answer. You have to show your passion, your empathy, your understanding of what being a mentor truly means.
You got it. RoleCatcher wants you to be yourself, to let your genuine qualities and experiences shine through. That's what will make you a great mentor.
Okay, we've talked about how important interview prep is, but I'm curious, what specific strategies does RoleCatcher recommend for handling those tough interview questions?
Well, first off, they're big on storytelling. They want you to think of specific examples from your own life where you showed those mentor qualities.
That makes a lot of sense. It's one thing to say you're a good listener, but sharing a story about how your listening skills made a real difference, that's powerful.
Right. And those stories don't have to be anything extraordinary. Even small, everyday moments can be super powerful when you share them authentically.
That's good to hear. It's easy to feel pressured to come up with these grand stories, but often it's the small, quiet moments of connection that have the biggest impact.
Definitely. And RoleCatcher reminds us of that. They want you to look back on your experiences, find those moments of connection, and craft them into stories that highlight your strengths as a mentor.
That's such valuable advice. Finding the extraordinary in the ordinary, right? Now, RoleCatcher also goes into how technology plays a part in the application process itself, doesn't it?
They do, and this is where it gets even more interesting. It's not just about the human side anymore. They're also giving you the tools to navigate the whole digital job hunting landscape, which is so important now.
Totally. Gone are the days of just printing out your resume. Now it's all applicant tracking systems, these algorithms that scan your resume for certain keywords.
Exactly. And that's where RoleCatcher's platform comes in. They've looked at tons of job descriptions and figured out the keywords that are most likely to catch the attention of those AI gatekeepers.
So it's like having a secret weapon. You're not just guessing anymore. You're using data to make your application stand out.
Precisely. Work smarter, not harder, right? RoleCatcher gives you the tools to do that. Their platform can help you pick out the best keywords for the jobs you want, so your application is more likely to rise to the top.
That's incredible. And it's not just keywords, right? RoleCatcher also gives advice on writing amazing resumes and cover letters that stand out.
They do. Even in the digital world, human connection still matters. Your resume and cover letter are your first chance to make an impression, and RoleCatcher can help you tell your story in a way that really connects with potential employers.
And let's not forget LinkedIn. RoleCatcher makes it clear a strong online presence is super important for anyone serious about a career in volunteer management.
It's true. Think of your LinkedIn profile like your digital business card. RoleCatcher has tips on how to make it better so you stand out to recruiters and hiring managers.
It's all about building your brand, showing off what you know, becoming a thought leader in the field.
You got it. Show your passion for volunteering, highlight your skills, make it easy for them to see why you'd be a perfect fit.
Okay, so we've talked about interview prep, the importance of your online presence, how to use tech to your advantage. Let's go back to what really matters in this role.
The heart of it all.
Yes, it's about making a difference, fostering growth, both personal and professional, bridging cultures, and empowering people to share their talents with the world.
It's about recognizing that everyone has something to offer, no matter their background, skills, or experiences.
And it's about creating a world that's fairer, more equal, and more compassionate, one volunteer, one connection, one act of kindness at a time.
Perfectly said. And as we dive deeper into this world of volunteer mentors, I have to say I'm really inspired by the stories of people who've dedicated their lives to this.
Me too. RoleCatcher is fantastic at sharing those stories, showing how much of an impact volunteer mentors are making around the world.
They're like the unsung heroes of so many communities, working hard behind the scenes to connect people, foster growth and empowerment, make the world a better place.
And what I find really inspiring is that you don't have to be an expert or have all the answers to be a volunteer mentor.
That's so true. The most important things are wanting to learn, having a compassionate heart, and genuinely wanting to make a positive impact.
Absolutely. Show up ready to listen with an open mind and believe in the power of human connection to create change. That's what matters.
And who knows, you might even discover some hidden talents and passions you never knew you had.
Speaking of discovering hidden talents, RoleCatcher's job board gives us a fascinating look at all the different volunteer opportunities out there.
It really does. It's like a treasure map for anyone who wants to make a difference.
It's amazing how many different causes and organizations are looking for volunteer mentors. We're talking about everything: education, healthcare, environmental stuff, social justice.
It really shows that those volunteer mentor skills are valuable in so many different areas.
For sure. And looking through these job postings, a few trends caught my eye that I think our listeners should know about.
Oh, please tell me. I always want to know what's new and changing in the world of volunteering.
Well, one thing I'm seeing a lot is this focus on cultural competency and sensitivity.
Which makes sense. Lots of volunteer programs are global these days. Organizations need mentors who can handle cultural differences, encourage understanding, and build inclusivity within their teams.
Exactly. It's more than just knowing about other cultures. It's about truly valuing those differences, seeing how diversity makes us stronger and enriches our experiences.
I love that. It's about moving beyond simply tolerating differences to really appreciating how much richness diversity brings.
Right. Now, another trend I've noticed is the need for tech skills, even in volunteer mentoring.
Well, it's the digital age, right? It makes sense that a lot of volunteer mentor roles want you to be comfortable with online platforms, communication tools, maybe even data analysis software.
It's not just about being a good listener and communicator anymore. You got to be tech savvy too. But it goes even beyond basic tech skills. I'm also seeing a lot of emphasis on data analysis and reporting.
That's a good point. Organizations want to see the impact of their programs, and they're turning to data to do that. Volunteer mentors who can gather, analyze, and interpret data are super valuable.
It's all about using data to tell the story, right? To show how important volunteering is and to make the case for more support and investment in these programs.
Exactly. Data can be a powerful tool for change. Volunteer mentors who know how to use it well can really influence how organizations approach their volunteer efforts and measure how well they're working.
Now, as we keep going through RoleCatcher's job board, I think it's important to acknowledge that all these volunteer opportunities can feel overwhelming. How do you even begin to narrow it down?
That's where RoleCatcher really shines. They have these advanced search filters and AI tools that help you cut through the noise and find the opportunities that match your skills, what you're interested in, and when you're available.
It's like having a personal career counselor in your pocket.
Totally. They take out the guesswork, finding that perfect volunteer opportunity efficient and, dare I say, enjoyable.
Okay, let's move on to the application process. It can feel like a big hurdle, but it doesn't have to be scary.
I agree. And RoleCatcher knows this, which is why they offer a ton of resources and tools to help you create applications that stand out.
One thing they have is this really cool CV and resume builder that helps you highlight your skills and experience in a way that matches the specific needs of each opportunity.
So important. You want to show them you're genuinely interested and that you're a good fit. Remember, it's not just about listing what you can do. It's about connecting it back to your passion for volunteering and showing you understand the organization's mission.
And this is another area where RoleCatcher's AI tools come in handy. Their platform can look over your resume, point out areas you can improve, and suggest ways to make it stronger. It's like having a resume expert in your back pocket.
Exactly. They can help you find the right keywords, adjust your language, make sure your application is one they'll remember.
That's so helpful in today's competitive world.
It really is. And there's more. They also have guidance on writing cover letters and personal statements that really shine.
Those are your chance to let your personality show, share why you want to volunteer, and show that you get the organization's values and goals.
Right. It's your chance to make a personal connection and make sure they remember you.
And RoleCatcher can help with that too. Their AI tools can even analyze your writing style, suggest improvements, and make sure your message is clear and powerful.
Like having a writing coach by your side.
Love that analogy. It's all about giving people the tools they need to succeed. Speaking of success, we can't forget about interview prep. That's where it all comes together.
The interview, the moment of truth where you get to show them who you are, what you're passionate about, and why you're the perfect person for their team.
Exactly. Some people get nervous about interviews, but remember, it's just a conversation. It's a chance to connect with people who share your passion for making a difference.
I love that way of looking at it. It's a chance to share your story, learn more about them, and figure out how your skills can help them.
And the best part, RoleCatcher has a bunch of resources to get you ready.
Really. Tell me more.
Well, they have this whole library of common interview questions, along with expert advice on how to approach them, even sample answers.
That's so helpful. It's always good to know what kind of questions they might ask so you can think about your answers ahead of time and not be caught off guard.
For sure. And it's not about memorizing answers. It's about getting what the question is really asking and then tailoring your answer to highlight your strengths.
Authenticity is key. They want to meet the real you, not a scripted version.
Exactly. And that's what's great about RoleCatcher's platform. They give you insights into what those interviewers are looking for and how to communicate your skills, values, and motivation effectively.
Like having a personal interview coach in your back pocket.
You got it. And for those who learn best by doing, RoleCatcher even has this mock interview feature where you can practice your answers with an AI interviewer.
Wow, really? How does that work?
You choose from different interview scenarios, and the AI gives you feedback on your performance, including your body language, how you sound, and how clearly you're getting your point across.
That's amazing. It's like a simulation of the real thing.
Exactly. It's a great way to build your confidence, improve your communication, and make sure you're totally prepared to put your best foot forward on interview day.
I'm so impressed by how dedicated RoleCatcher is to helping people who want to volunteer.
Me too. They've really thought of everything.
As we wrap up our deep dive into the world of volunteer mentors, I'm curious, what are your thoughts on this? RoleCatcher talks about how transformative volunteering can be, both for the people involved and the communities they're helping.
I completely agree. Volunteering is more than just giving back. It helps you grow, builds bridges between different cultures, and pushes for positive change in the world.
That's a beautiful way to put it. It's about acknowledging that we're all human, embracing our differences, and coming together to create a brighter future for everyone.
It really is about recognizing that we're all connected, and that even small acts of kindness can have a ripple effect. And speaking of connections, RoleCatcher had some really interesting insights about how AI is being used not just to match volunteers, but also to actually help mentors give more personalized guidance.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine this. You're a mentor, and your mentee's struggling with something specific. RoleCatcher's AI can look at that challenge, compare it to a whole database of resources, and then suggest strategies or materials that might be helpful just for that mentee.
It's like having a digital mentor toolkit. You're not just going off of your gut feeling anymore. You've got data-driven insights to help you be a better mentor.
Exactly. And it gets even cooler. As you add more information about your mentee, how they're doing, their goals, any roadblocks they hit, the AI can adjust its recommendations so you always have the most up-to-date and useful resources.
That's amazing. It's like a personalized mentoring program that changes as your mentee does. It really shows how powerful technology can be in supporting that human element in mentorship. But even with all these advancements, we can't forget that technology is just a tool.
So true. It's easy to get caught up in all the bells and whistles, but the human touch is something technology can't replace. No algorithm can truly understand empathy, shared experiences, that human connection that makes a mentoring relationship really special.
Well said. And speaking of special, let's talk about some of those real-life examples RoleCatcher gave of volunteer mentors making a difference. Their job board has tons of opportunities, but some really stood out to me, like they had one for a volunteer mentor working with refugee kids.
Oh, wow, that's so important. Those kids have often been through so much. Having a mentor there to guide and support them can make all the difference.
Right. And the job description really emphasized cultural sensitivity and language skills, talking about the unique challenges and rewards of working with a diverse group of people.
It reminds us that mentoring isn't one size fits all. You have to be adaptable, understanding, and willing to meet people where they are.
Exactly. And it wasn't just about schoolwork either. This role also involved connecting the kids with resources in the community, helping them adjust to a new culture, and empowering them to create a brighter future.
It's about supporting the whole person, not just one aspect of their life.
Absolutely. Another opportunity that stuck out to me was for a mentor working with an organization that helps homeless people get job training and find employment.
That's another area where mentors can have a huge impact.
Mhm.
Trying to find a job is hard enough, but when you factor in homelessness, lack of resources, the emotional toll it takes, it's incredibly difficult.
It's heartbreaking. This organization is all about providing support, and mentors are a key part of that.
What do those mentors do specifically?
Well, the job description said they work one-on-one with people, giving them advice on resumes, interview skills, that sort of thing. But they also offer encouragement, accountability, just a listening ear for people facing some tough obstacles.
It's about helping them get back on their feet, rebuild their lives, and see that they can still achieve their goals despite everything.
Exactly. And what's really inspiring is that a lot of the mentors at this organization have experienced homelessness themselves.
Wow, that's amazing. Talk about understanding what someone's going through. It just shows how powerful mentorship can be for both people involved. By helping others, those mentors are continuing their own healing while making a difference in someone else's life.
It's a perfect example of how kindness and compassion can have a ripple effect. As we're talking about these volunteer opportunities, I'm thinking back to what we said about AI in the application process.
Me too. It's kind of mind-blowing that technology can help connect people with these amazing opportunities.
I know, right? Sometimes the hardest part is knowing where to even look. But with RoleCatcher, you plug in your skills, what you're interested in, your availability, and boom, their algorithms do the work for you.
Like a personal volunteer matchmaker. It's not just about finding something that fits your schedule. It's about finding organizations that share your values and are working towards something you care about.
Exactly. And once you've found that perfect opportunity, RoleCatcher doesn't leave you high and dry. They help you through the onboarding process too.
Oh, that's good to know. How so?
Well, a lot of organizations have training for new mentors, covering things like communication skills, how to deal with disagreements, cultural sensitivity, that kind of thing. RoleCatcher gives you access to a ton of online resources and materials you can use to learn more and keep growing as a mentor.
So it's like an ongoing training program designed specifically for mentors.
Exactly. And you can learn on your own time, whenever and wherever it works for you.
That's key, especially for people who are balancing other things in their lives, like work or family.
For sure. Speaking of balancing, I think we should talk about how much time mentoring actually takes. It's something a lot of people wonder about, and RoleCatcher addresses it directly.
Oh, they do? What do they say?
Well, they're upfront about it. The time commitment really depends on the opportunity. Some roles might only be a few hours a month, while others could be several hours a week. It really varies.
That makes sense. There's no magic number when it comes to volunteering. What matters is finding something that works for you and how much time you can give.
Exactly, and that's another way RoleCatcher's platform is helpful. You can search for opportunities based on how much time you have, so you're only looking at options that fit your life.
That's so convenient. It
Yeah,
takes out all the guesswork. You can just focus on finding those opportunities that really speak to you.
I know, right? And as we get deeper into this, I'm realizing that being a volunteer mentor isn't just about helping other people, it's about your own growth, too.
Absolutely. It's about learning new things, challenging yourself, looking at the world in new ways.
It's about connecting with your own humanity, realizing we're all connected, and seeing that we all have something to offer, no matter who we are or what we've been through.
That's beautifully put. It's about realizing that we're all in this together and that we can make the world better by supporting and encouraging each other.
And that brings me to something I've been reflecting on. Despite all the challenges in the world, there's something so hopeful about people's willingness to give back, to help others, to make a difference.
It really is. It shows the power of human connection and the belief that even small acts of kindness can make a difference, that they can create a ripple effect and lead to bigger changes.
It's like we all have a choice, you know? We can sit back and watch, or we can choose compassion over apathy, choose hope, choose to be a force for good.
I love that. And maybe that's the biggest takeaway from all of this. Being a volunteer mentor isn't just about a job or a set of skills. It's about how you choose to be in the world with an open heart, a willingness to help, and a belief in the power of human connection.
It's like you said, finding that spark in everyone and creating a space where it can grow.
Exactly. Helping people become their best selves, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them.
And that brings us right back to what we've been talking about. how powerful volunteer mentorship can be. It's not always seen as this big, important thing, but RoleCatcher really showed us that it can truly change lives.
Absolutely. It takes a special mix of skills, listening, empathy, understanding different cultures, even being good with technology. But more than anything, you need to be dedicated to helping others, believe in the power of connection, and be passionate about making a difference.
And the best part is, you don't need a fancy degree or years of experience to get started. RoleCatcher shared stories of volunteer mentors from all walks of life, each bringing their own unique experiences.
That's what makes it so great. Those different experiences, those different voices, they enrich the whole mentoring relationship for both people.
Right. It's about knowing that we all have something to offer, no matter who we are, how old we are, what we do, or what we've been through. And it's about building a space where all those voices can be heard, where we can learn from each other and remember that we're all connected.
Beautifully put. It's about recognizing that we're all in this together and that supporting and uplifting each other is how we create a better world.
You know, as we talk about all of this, I can't help but feel a sense of hope. The world has its challenges, but there's something so hopeful about people wanting to give back, to make a difference in the lives of others.
I feel it too. It reminds us that even in the face of difficulty, human connection is powerful. It shows that even small acts of kindness can create a ripple effect and lead to real, lasting change.
It's about realizing that we have a choice. We can choose to be passive, or we can choose compassion, choose hope, choose to be a force for good.
That's such an important message, and maybe it's the most important thing we've talked about today. Being a volunteer mentor is more than a job. It's a way of living, a way of approaching life with an open heart, a willingness to help, and a belief in the power of human connection.
So, to everyone listening, if you ever felt that pull towards service, that desire to make a difference, think about exploring volunteer mentorship. It might be the most fulfilling thing you ever do.
You don't have to have all the answers. You don't have to have it all figured out. Just come with an open mind, a willingness to learn, and a desire to make a positive impact, and the path will reveal itself.
Beautifully said. And with that, we've come to the end of our deep dive into the world of volunteer mentors. We hope you found this exploration to be informative, inspiring, and empowering.
It's been a joy exploring this with you all today.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those sparks of human connection alive.